What if everything that you do, someone is taking record of it? Would you allow them to do so? Knowing that every single thing that you do in every aspect of your life, someone is making note of it and taking record of it. They're actually selling it and making money off it. And sometimes that information is even damaging to you. What if that is true? That is exactly true, and that is exactly what goes on a daily basis with our private data and our information that we have. Welcome back to Credit Nerdy, brought to you by Tyronic Financial, Tyronic Credit Products. Welcome back to Credit Nerdy. When we started Tyronic Financial, one of the agendas that we had was to bring to people's awareness what consumer reporting agencies do and who they are and where they are. If you understand the history of consumer reporting agency, you will understand that they have always tried to shroud themselves in secrecy, and that's why you don't know about a lot of the consumer reporting agencies that exist, because even though laws are created to give us access to them, they don't publicize their business outside of the business world that they are in, because they know that to the American person, one of the most important rights that the American person prides themselves in is our right to privacy. Our right to privacy and our right to mind our own business and to give access to our business when we want to give access to our business. The FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, was constructed in order to give us access to our information, who have our information, and to be able to control what information these individuals have on us and for how long they can have that sort of information. But for most of us, the only understanding we have about this is the credit bureaus. So we equate our data just with the three major credit bureaus, and to a certain extent the smaller ones when we want to do damage in terms of cleaning up our credit. We might interact with a few, the Innovis, the SageStream, the LexisNexis, but there were thousands of consumer reporting agencies, thousands, but now it's down to several hundreds, because there are changes in the industry that cause some of the companies to sell off and consolidate it, and the bigger ones absorb some smaller ones. And also technology and all of that allow certain individuals the expense of it to just completely go out of business. But one of the things that I want to bring to our attention as we have this brief discussion, this is part one of a series that I will do on who have our information. Who have our information? There are several different consumer reporting agencies, but we are conditioned to only think about the big three credit bureaus. But if we pay full attention to the FCRA and the language of the FCRA, we will come to realize, without ever even knowing who most of these companies are, that the FCRA is not so much constructed to just deal with the three big credit bureaus. The FCRA is constructed to deal with consumer reporting agencies. And as such, we have this sort of information before our face in how it defines what is a consumer report. It gives a broad definition of what a consumer report is to cover the consumer reporting agencies that exist. Every single thing that we do on a daily basis is being recorded, and we must get control of our information and clean up our data. But if we don't know where to go, we can't get access to cleaning our data. Everything that we do on a daily basis is being recorded and stored and resold by consumer reporting agencies. If you're a tenant, there are tenant screening consumer reporting agency. When you're going to rent an apartment or a house or an office space, and they run our credit, some of us believe that it's just our credit reports they run. No, they have tenant screening background and a consumer reporting agency that collects information on our tenant history, everywhere we have ever lived, and so on and so forth. And they provide this information and sell it back to landlords and other big realtors that are in the business of pulling these things. Then you also, at the same time, sometimes when you are doing your check to get an apartment, it's not just even your tenant screening background that is done. There's also background screening and criminal records and data that is done. So you might be renting an apartment and there's 3 different kind of consumer reports that is being pulled on you. A lot of times you are not told as it relates to the tenant screening background information that your consumer report was used, apart from just your credit, to determine that they're not going to actually give you the apartment or the place. Now, one of the things that we must know, and I will do a different video covering this, once your consumer report is used in you applying for an apartment or any rental property, and it has to do with your personal use or family use and not commercial or business, there are certain procedures that must be followed. And if those procedures are not followed, which in most cases I don't think they are followed, because I have rent at different times of my life in my earlier years, and none of this was followed. I wasn't even aware of the consumer reporting agency that they run my information with. I just think it was just credit and background. And they should have told, once you're denied and your credit or your consumer report played a role in it, they're supposed to tell you who they pull it from and why you were denied. If they don't do that, you can get remedy. You can get up to $1,000 on this. Then we have employment screening, consumer reporting agencies that collect our employment records. Some of them go as far and deep as collecting our information as it relates to our employment history, and in some cases if our income is available, they have that sometime even in our files. This is not the credit bureaus, so don't be confused. This is not the credit bureaus. Credit bureaus collect our financial information, and they have a certain limit on what kind of information they can collect, even though they themselves owns other consumer reporting agency that they don't publicize, they don't know, because some of them own background screening consumer reporting agencies where they collect their criminal record and basically store it and resell it to police departments and so on and so forth. So what I am speaking on when I say they collect your data and run your file. When you actually income, they collect your income, because when it comes on to our regular credit report, income is not a part of our credit report, but other consumer reports, it might have that information on it once it is, for example, employment related. Every check that we have ever cashed is recorded and is stored. Every bank account that we have ever opened is recorded and is stored. So the FCRA doesn't just cover the big 3 credit bureaus. The FCRA covers consumer reporting agency, which is very wide. You're gonna look a job in its best. You run your credit, your consumer report in the employment related, because the same rules that governs the big 3 is the same rules from the FCRA that governs it. So you can pull your consumer report, look what is in it, dispute what is in it, and so on and so forth. So once you're gonna look at a property to rent, pull your background consumer report. Look at what is there. Errors might be in it. Pull your tenant screening background information. Look what is there, and if there is anything that is adverse to your prospect, then you get it clean up. The same is true when you are going to do you're gonna look a job. Make sure that your background and your employment screen, especially if you are fired from different jobs and things like that. Make sure those things are cleaned up so when you go, you give yourself a tap. Because these consumer reports are being used on you and you're not aware that they are being used. When you go to open a bank account, they run check systems, not just check systems. You have check screening, consumer reporting agency, if you have done bounce check and stuff like that, that information is out there. Gotta clean up our information. So this series will be on providing for us the different consumer reporting agencies that are out there and how to get to them and how to get our information so that we can clean it up. We have a right to privacy and we have a right to protect our interests. As a result, let us get on top of things and let us start to clean our information, because our information is being collected by these companies and corporations all over the place, being resold and profited from, and we are not even aware of them because they don't publicize themselves, and it has always been that way. The same is true. There's a whole lot of credit scoring and scoring models that exist, that some of them are not even regulated under the FCRA because of the nature of them. Secret scores that different institutions use on us that we are not aware of. So we gotta get ourselves aware of these things so that we can control our data. Alright, so this is the first video in our Who Have Your Information series that we will cover and give you information on the different consumer reporting agencies that exist, where we can go and actually get our data and get our information cleaned up so that we are not at a disadvantage and so that they are not using our information to work against our interests. All right, blessings, peace.